Welcome back to Film Nerds. Guys, it's been a while. I know you missed us. I heard it in the tweets. I saw it, the DMs, everything. You wanted to get to see myself. You wanted to get to see J-Wack. You wanted to get to see Nick. You wanted a chance to talk with us about these prospects, but we've been gone. We've been hiding. It was football season. It was NFL season. It was college season. There's so much going on in the fall that it really just got to the point that we weren't able to have the time to dig into all of these guys like we would like to. We didn't want to put out a subpar product here, so we made sure that we went back to the lab here. We're back now, and we get to talk about a player that I'm super excited about, a guy that I think is moving up a lot of different people's boards. But before we get into the prospect, before we get into the player, before we get into all of this, I'm going to give it to Nick Whalen and Jared Wackerly. Guys, how are you doing tonight?
I'm good, man. I mean, honestly, we quarantined, maybe we got the COVID, maybe we didn't, maybe we got the vaccine, and now we're back. Like we can go back out into like regular world, which is film stuff. And I missed you guys, and this is fun for me because it makes me do the homework more.
Yep.
And I get to hear you guys say things like, oh, maybe I didn't see that, or maybe that's not something that I picked up. So it's exciting for me to learn. So I hope that's the same for everybody.
For sure. Jared, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, man. I'm excited to be back in the saddle with you guys. It's been too long. I mean, honestly, like we covered a lot of the 2021 top prospects prior to the 2020 season. And we kind of just ran out of guys that we felt were relevant that we should cover at the time. So, we wanted the film to play out. So we had something to review back on, new guys that appeared through the season, like who we're going to cover tonight, and Javonte Williams, running back from North Carolina. And I'm pumped for this guy. I think he looks like Marshawn Lynch out there.
His tape is really, really impressive. And I know, Nick, you actually had quite a bit of information on Javonte Williams. Why don't you give us some of those tidbits and facts? I put them together. Tidbits and facts about Javonte.
All right, we're rusty. We're gonna get there. So he was ranked, I think, 95th among North Carolina or South Carolina prospects coming out of high school. So not a lot was expected of him. And he has a really good running mate. We need to make note, write this down. Michael Carter, a guy to watch as well. And they have some pretty interesting stats here. So they both are one carry apart on the year. Williams has 157 carries for 1,140 yards, 19 touchdowns, just rushing here, 7.3 yards per carry, really good. Carter has 8 yards per carry, 156. So again, one less carry, 1,245 yards, 9 rushing touchdowns. They both have 25 receptions, decent yardage, 3 touchdowns receiving for Williams, 2 for Carter. So they're both uber productive, but they both have really high yards per carry. And we kind of see that when we watch the film here of how good, the holes are in this line is.
Yeah, it is a really good offensive line. I was looking on Football Outsiders, and it was before bowl season, so could have changed slightly, but this is a top 20 offensive line, and if I remember correctly, it was closer to 10 even than it was 20. So this is a very good offensive line that we have here at UNC.
Yeah, so let's get into it a little bit, Garrett. Like we got you up first here versus
Queued me up.
Boston
All right.
College.
So we'll let the play run. We're going to let the first play run. And we hyped him up. We talked about how great Javonte Williams is. Let's dig into the tape and look at this dud. I started off with a play that was a little bit disappointing for Javonte. This is something in pass protection that you're going to have whiffs. You're going to have misses. It's not going to be perfect all the time. But when you're this close to your own red zone or your own end zone, this cannot happen. He puts his head down. I don't know if he wasn't expecting him to inside rush or what, but he just completely whiffs. And even there was really no punch. It almost looked like he was trying to kind of tackle him and whiffed. Like he almost looks like a linebacker trying to tackle a guy and just whiffed. It's not good feet here. It's not good execution. There's some better reps that he has later on that I didn't necessarily have time to get to all of them. So I'm not necessarily saying he's a terrible pass blocker, terrible in pass protection, but I'm not going to necessarily say he's good at it either. There's a lot of work that still needs to be done.
Yeah, in the 2 games I watched, I really didn't get to see too many reps of him in pass pro. So
Can you go back, J-Wack, just to that last angle? I like the end zone view of this. I mean, and honestly, with pass pro, there's 2 different things that he can do. He can attack, right, which is what he does here, or he can widen his base. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And sink his hips and make himself tough to get around. The other thing I want to point out here is if you look, man, what a good angle and dedication from that camera guy. Look how low he is, focused, right? That's just a cool little
camera
shot
guy
there.
some love. Yeah.
I mean, dude, look at that dedication. He's there. So
he is.
This is good tape. You're right.
yeah, I'm telling you, these are the angles. That's why you guys watch this, to get that stuff.
All right, let's get to the next play here.
Once again, we're just going to let the first play, we're going to let it run, let you watch it. Javonte to the house. All right, let's talk about this play a little bit. Lined up here in the backfield, shotgun snap. He's looking for guys to get. Not a lot there. He helps chip a guy, but not a lot going on here. And what we have here is the scramble drill. We've talked about it before. Traditionally, on a lot of scramble drills, when the quarterback's getting outside the pocket, the guys that are supposed to go deep come in shallow. The guys that are supposed to go shallow start going deep. Sees a hole and where all the defenders are, makes himself available, puts himself in the line of sight for the quarterback. And that's just so nice. I'm sure, Jared, you can attest to that. When running backs can make themselves available when you're in trouble, just so nice. And we see him. It's not the most incredible play after this, but there's a little bit of this like bobsled feel of how he's running. Just a little shift of his weight here, a little shift of his weight there. Just very smooth. But I love seeing him recognize what's going on in the play, make himself available. Nice little catch and run. Scores a touchdown for UNC.
Yeah, and it's funny how often like running backs and tight ends, those are the guys that usually are staying in the block. It's funny how often they don't leak out or have that awareness. So as a quarterback, you love that because those are the guys that aren't being accounted for by the defense when the play breaks down. So, and it's usually an easier pass. So, I mean, really good awareness here by Javonte and has the ability to take it to the house.
I just didn't know that Garrett had all this bobsledding experience. That's
I did. I was actually Cool Runnings is based off of my life. So
Santa,
I don't know if you guys knew
what's his name? Sanka?
I don't know what you all are arguing about because the race was going to be both your butts anyway.
What are you talking about? How about I beat your butt right now?
How about I draw a line down the middle of your head so it looks like a butt?
I honestly don't remember. I haven't seen that movie in probably 20 years.
Hey, you're right. He's the guy with the egg, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I'm on.
All right. So this is a little bit of a both play. Something I really, really love in this play, and then something I was kind of underwhelmed with.
I'm going to carry these guys.
All right. So this is the angle that I like the most. This is what I like. The tight end took a little bit longer to get there because of what happened with the linemen. Mm-hmm. So it took him a little bit longer to get there. Patience to allow his tight end to get out there, throw that block, get upfield, get what you can. But that little spin at the end was so unnecessary. And I don't know what it was. Like, the great play, great run. And then what is this little spin at the end? Like
this one? Yeah.
Yeah. Like, what are you doing? Just keep going upfield. I don't know why he put that in there. But the rest of the play I really liked.
You mean just go straight here, right at 10?
Right. Just get upfield.
Nah, I agree. He's like, shit, what do I do? All right. And carry 5 guys.
Yeah. Oh, he's strong. I mean, dude's strong as an ox. But I thought that was good vision, good patience to wait for his tight end to get there to make that hole. And then it was a wide open hole for him. It was a beautiful play. But just nice little patience, just those little things as a running back that could have been the difference. Because if he keeps going there, he's just running into a tackler. That's all he's doing.
And I think part of that, too, what you're speaking to is what are your strengths? You have to know what they are as a runner. His is to run hard, lower his pads, and he's going to run over people, get more yards versus dance and spin and juke.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. You're absolutely right.
So we
This
got
is one of my favorite
Virginia. Boom.
Like one of the most pretty 9-yard runs you're going to see.
Yeah,
So first and foremost, let's actually go back to the other angle if you don't mind, Jared. First part of this play, the reaction time to be able to make a decision that quickly. I mean, he had 1 yard. It was literally a step beyond getting the football that he was able to make that decision to make that move inside and cut it back outside. Watch him plant back out.
Did
Beautiful.
he even touch him before the guy started falling?
I don't think he did. Like he
Yeah.
had him on skates.
He just kind of like juked him, broke his ankles.
Beautiful. So now we have the guy on the outside here that has contained, comes in, gives him a stiff arm. So it shows that upper body strength. Yeah, I'm going to send you into the turf. You're going to go down there. Okay. I'm going to keep running. Terrible angle by 0 there. But once again, another tackle that he breaks. And he has enough to get upfield, get about a 9-yard or so play there. Most people on that play are losing either 2 yards at the initial play there, or maybe losing at least 2, maybe even 3 yards where he had the stiff arm. 98% of running backs are going to be doing that. They're losing yards on this play. Javonte Williams does not.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, sorry, go ahead, J-Back.
Well, I was going to bring up the PFF stat on he actually broke the record within PFF's system since they actually started tracking this on their college side of things. He broke 0.48 tackles per attempt, which I guess is the record for them. So, I mean, that's obvious. And you want guys that are going to make that first would-be tackler miss or break the tackle.
And how many runs are up the middle where you don't even have the opportunity to like really break tackles? So he's literally breaking a tackle every other run. That's wild.
Go ahead,
I
Nick.
mean, to me here, the thing you have to also know, like this is a good run. Don't get me wrong. I think this initial move is probably the most impressive, but this is some bad defense. Number one right here is a little guy. He tries to go way too high. That's not where you're going to win one versus a big running back or versus any running back, as you can see. Bad angle here by 0. You got to go, and get your helmet on the other
His
side
head's
there.
behind, yep.
And then the other guy tackles him high as well and takes him down. It's like, this is just bad ideas. for a guy
Those
that's
tackles
220.
scare me so much. Like that's how you get hurt right there. Yeah, let's move on here. Good little angle route.
Yep. Look at those hands. Look at those hands. That's a 220-pound man right there.
Yeah, that's a nice catch.
It's a nice catch from a guy. And that's what I got to see on multiple plays where he is not your traditional, I'm a bruiser, I'm going to run guys over. Yes, he can do those things. But this is a nice little angle route right out of the backfield here. You can tell that the linebacker was expecting him to run out here. He had already turned his hips. Now, I don't know if he had the option there to either go outside or if the angle was always on. That I don't know. If he read that, even better on him that he was able to tell that the hips were turned on the linebacker and he was going to get more in the middle of the field. But being able to get up and catch that ball, I really liked seeing that type of hands play from a thick, powerful running back like him.
Did you have anything to add on that, Nick?
No, it was a good. I mean, it's a Texas route. It was a good route. He sold the outside. There's some times when I see him run routes where I think he takes too many steps, and that's not his game. He needs to keep his momentum going. But that was a good one.
Yeah. I would assume you want this angle on this one, Garrett.
Yep, this is the angle I want on this one. We'll go ahead and let it play one time through. This is just understanding how to be a running back here. That hole was so much smaller and maybe not even really there until that jab step to the outside. Go a couple frames ahead, Jared. Right here, Zero's waiting in that hole, right? He jabs that inside, gives time for that lineman to be able to clear him out a little bit more, just enough of a crease to be able to power his way through here. That's just smart running inside the 5-yard line. Yes, I love seeing them run over guys and be stronger than them. And there are times where you have to do that. You don't have the choice. The defense made the great play. But if you can leverage your blocks in order to make your job easier, that's always the preferred route. I think he has the cognitive ability to understand the movements, the leverage of a running back, of the offensive line, understands all of that really, really well. And it's a small thing, it's a subtle thing, but it's those subtle things that make such a big difference in, some of the players that we see as upper echelon guys and some of the guys that, ended up being tackled at the 1 yard line there.
What I like here, I mean, the cut he had to make because there was a big hole to the right. I mean, there's a double team going up to the backer, but then it's a terrible block here by the left tackle, gets beat. Is this cut right here, then he keeps it skinny because as you said, that zero's in the hole. Now, some guys would overcut that or anticipate that, and he's keeping it skinny, hoping that this guy, this lineman who literally is standing there or block somebody he doesn't gets in his way. But keeping that skinny, as you're saying, that's knowledge right there too of instincts. And knowing, if I'm only going to take on half of this defender, there's odds I can still get in the end zone.
All right, my turn. We got NC State here. Let's go from the box view. Good cutback here. Good vision to see it. Yeah, it looks like we got zone. I mean, is that zone, Nick?
No,
That's pin and pull.
Okay.
Look at that. Both. So pin and pull for me is, I mean, you would think of the classic sweep, but anyone that's not covered up will pull. Gotcha. So right now you got 3 guys that are pulling.
I've actually never heard that.
Oh, that's good information. I didn't either because that's good information.
But
I mean, I could be wrong. That's just how I understand that.
Obviously, he sees 5 here, over pursue. Backside completely opens up. So good job of setting, exploding, and seeing the hole.
Now we'll say this. That's true. But go back, look at this box.
Yeah, I mean, it's light.
It's really light. So versus 6 blockers. If you can't find a lane there, I've got some big concerns.
For sure.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they had the back end back there. I mean, that had to be I don't know what the down and distance was or why they had that light. But man.
Yeah, I don't have the down and distance on that one.
Yeah, that's something we should keep in next time. I kind of forgot about that.
Yeah, I did for the quarterbacks. Let's see. So that last one, I do track it on my own. 2nd and 10. This is 1st and 10.
Okay. So they're probably thinking pass for sure on 2nd and 10.
Yeah. So let this play run through here, but nice job of saw one coming through the hole, and then makes a guy miss on the outside. Shit. Sorry. So nice little stutter move here for a big guy. Gets him. Obviously, he's going to overpower 12 here on the outside, but gives him a nice little hezzy. Gets him stopped in his tracks and beats him to the outside, and then he has the balance to keep it in bounds.
He's always seemingly very under control. For a guy that plays like a wrecking ball, everything just seems very purposeful, very under control, not getting outside of what he's wanting to do on the play. Man, it's hard not to like this kid.
Sorry, Nick, did you have anything to add on that one?
No, the thing I liked the most about it was what you said. I mean, the most impressive, besides making the guy miss, which he should have, and it was, a pretty decent sized hole, was the balance. I mean,
yeah,
because there's some running backs that are like, hey, that's good enough. I got a good gain, but he keeps it in and gets another,
5-6 yards.
Yeah, he gets a good gain after that, which takes a mentality. The mentality of, I'm going to go in here, I'm going to get some abuse to get more yards. Yeah, it's impressive.
Cool. Patience is a virtue. That's my only note on this play. I just love the way that he navigates the hole here and lets the play develop. So he kind of just...
So we got the right guard pulling.
Yep, navigating traffic. And again, just a strong physical run at the point of contact, point of attack. Let's go back to the other angle here. But you can see him kind of pause here in the backfield.
Blocking there.
Yeah, lets the puller get a hat on a hat. Keeps his feet moving, balance. Gets through there. He had contact at the 45, and he makes it down to the 40 or 39. So he's always getting yards after contact.
We're not gonna go into it right now, but maybe as we're wrapping up, I want to hear some of your guys' ideal landing spots for a guy like Javonte, because I have one that I really like, but I'm curious as to what your guys' ideas would be for him.
So I can't say it now.
I mean, you can if you want to, but
Well,
we can get into a longer discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I'll save it.
We'll save it. Little tease. Keep watching.
Well, as this is J-Wax, well, I'll let him keep going to the next play.
No, go ahead. Add what you want.
So I have 2 comps for him. That and again, when I say comp, it's not a career arc. It reminds me of. The first guy is a guy near and dear to your hearts, I'm sure. Carlos Hyde. Reminds me of Carlos Hyde coming out.
That's a really good one.
A thick guy, good feet, good athlete. Not a great athlete, not great agility, but good in all those areas. And honestly, people underrate Carlos Hyde. He's a good receiver. He can catch. He can do it all. It's just
He was good.
How his career kind of turned out wasn't what people thought.
A lot of injuries early on.
Yep, that's one. And then the high end of what he could be, I don't think he has quite the cutting ability, is an Arian Foster type, where patient, really great vision, understood the scheme so well that he played so much up to his athletic ability versus other guys that can't quite use all of their traits. I feel like Williams uses almost all of his athleticism on the field.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, I can see that.
I like that comp a lot, Nick. I'm going to have to use that. Claim it as my own.
Carlos Hyde.
Go ahead.
Just kidding. Do you have a Rams comp?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow, that's a good one.
I'll
get back to that one.
Okay.
No, actually, it just popped into my head. Cleveland Gary. Yeah, I can see a little. I can see a little.
Gary.
Yeah, a little Cleveland Gary. Yeah, someone's gonna watch this and know who he is, and it'll be like, all right.
Cleveland
I
Gary.
love
I
your
thought you
Rams
just
comps.
made up a name. Sounds
Number
like a
43.
creative player.
Number 43.
So great. So great.
All right, let's move on here.
What's crazy is I'm not that much older than you guys, but I have I have another 20 years of football knowledge stuck in here that you guys just don't have for some reason.
Well, when I was 12, I didn't care about Cleveland Gary.
I cared since I was like 4.
I mean, I cared about football, but I was more worried about collecting my baseball cards or football cards. Like, I wasn't worried about that. How's my Madden player look? Like,
All right. Shut up. I'm just kidding.
I'm gonna live my life.
No. So I love the way, right off the rip, 13 here gets in the backfield. So he kind of bursts ahead. There's nothing ahead, but he bursts ahead to avoid that guy, avoid the would-be tackler. So he makes one man miss, and then, he runs into his defenders. He's a little bit out of control because he had to make that guy miss. And then he's able to find a crease, and then, nothing special out here, but gives that guy a forearm shiver, carries him a few yards. So, I don't know. I feel like so often he's always making the first guy miss or breaking the tackle, and that's always huge for me. Because you're going to be uncomfortable in uncomfortable situations like that in the NFL. So guys who can do that, I always move up my boards.
Well, he keeps him ahead of the chains. You know what I mean? You're not getting negative gains.
Look at this guy. Yes, Nick. Bingo. Just the way he navigates traffic and is able to. I mean, he makes a man miss inside the hole just on pure instinct. I keep forgetting to let the play run through.
No, you're good. This is a pretty run.
Yeah. Boom.
Oh,
wait, is that not the same run?
that's not the same run. This looks like it's going to be a pretty run too, but
Yeah. I think this was the better angle.
better angle.
Yeah.
I was curious to see what was happening in the hole there because I can't fully tell. I can tell he's breaking tackles, but I couldn't quite tell exactly what was happening there. But anytime you can make that's super hard to do too. Like, it's much easier to break a tackle in the open field. It's very difficult to break tackles inside the scrum there because there's just nowhere to go. Even if you run through the guy, he's still right below you, right on you, because there's so much going on. So to make guys miss, to break tackles inside of the box there, tough to do.
Yeah, I mean, he breaks like 2 tackles here because he makes this guy miss over pursuing, throws him away.
I mean, so one here. So he stops, sees it,
3.
gets under balance, throws him aside. The guy from behind him touches him, and the guy side of him gets an arm on him. Like,
and then the safety comes down, tries to hit him.
That didn't
I read like an interview with him. He's like, he doesn't even feel these guys. He doesn't even feel them hitting him. Like they just fall off him.
now, a small point here that I like. He's running on the right side. Ball's in the left arm, switches to the right arm.
Yeah, I don't know how I didn't have that. The rest of that film
That's all right.
in there, but
No biggie. I was just curious to kind of be able to see in there better what was happening.
yeah, me too. So this is versus Syracuse. We'll let it run. But I mean, you just see the physicality.
Oh, I think this is a new play.
All right, so let's get into the Syracuse here. Next play. Let it run here. Loses his balance a little bit, but hand down. Stays up, and you just see the physicality of Javonte. I mean, he's a little lumbering here. Like, that's how he is, though. He's just kind of a good athlete, like Nick said earlier. He's not great. But
Can you go back to the right after the handoff here and just go slow?
Yeah.
So he slips. Yeah, he slips because he cuts off the wrong foot. He starts cutting off his outside, but then the big cut's on his inside, and that's tough to do, as you know.
Yeah.
If this was not turf, he would be on the ground. Grass would have flown up there. But why didn't he anticipate this?
The cutback that early?
Yeah, because I mean, when you look, when the pre-snap of this, there's 2-3 techniques. There's nobody inside of that. You got to think there's going to be a huge hole in the middle of that defense.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at this. They're wide. Those are even wide of 3. I mean, they're. Of course,
I wonder
there's
if
gonna
he
be
maybe
a hole.
thought the motion man would pull those linebackers to the left more than they ended up actually pulling them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, a DN flew in there.
Oh, they had a twist.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was just so out of control that he kind of flew to the other side of the line.
So out of control, but like, look, I mean, he breaks this guy's tackle, then he jukes that guy or kills
Oh no, I
his
meant the
ankle.
defensive lineman was out of control.
Right. Yeah,
And
that's
he's
what I
just
thought too,
like,
Garrett.
Then freaking carrying these dudes, like, God, he's a tank. Leaves a path of destruction.
Yeah, you messaged me that today, and that
I
was like
messaged
the
Nick
perfect.
that too.
It was the perfect way to describe it. Like he does, he just leaves a path of destruction in his wake everywhere he goes.
Yeah, I just love the way he's just strong through the hole. Always just keeping his legs moving, pushing the pile.
Good ball security. I like seeing both hands on the football there through the line.
Yeah, so really, I mean, nothing special. It's a good hole here. He did what he should, but
Speaking of ball security, I did see one fumble. Did you guys see any fumbles on your 2 games each?
I didn't.
No.
Okay.
Let me look it up.
1
see if
out
I
of
can
6. That's not
find
too
it.
shabby.
Yeah, I like this run a lot. I mean, he pretty much knows that, like, these guys can't tackle me, and I need to get in here. So he just takes them on. Like, he gets in. Like, he gets small.
So these are stats, Garrett, from CBS. He fumbled once in 2020.
Must have been what you saw.
Yeah, did not lose it. He fumbled 3 times in 2019, and he lost 2 of them.
Okay. Yep. The one was against, it was either BC or Virginia, and yeah, he didn't lose it. The offensive lineman came behind him. And honestly, it was even questionable if it was actually a fumble. Never had to be reviewed since his offensive lineman, fell on it. But it was even questionable because he was going to the ground. Kind of looked like the ground might have forced it, but it was kind of hard to tell. So, all right, Nick, you're up, man.
Miami. This is a good one.
Welcome to Miami.
Yeah, when we were deciding tape, I was like, you can have the Miami game, man. Get some positivity going.
Hey, I've been pretty positive. Yeah.
Yeah.
New year, new me.
In life, like I feel like you're a pretty positive guy, so
Yeah, no, I am. And what people don't like I point all these things out. I mean, that's just being a coach, you know. What I like the most about this run is the next angle. So yes, you could play this one all the way through.
And
this is
this film was a little choppy.
Okay.
so that other angle. What I love about this is, you know, so again we got the pullers coming, right? Is him just understanding. So he knows he's going to go inside of that block, and then he's going to go inside of this block. So that's normally how pullers go. And watch him right here. He still waits and then cuts inside already, knowing that block's going to be good, which gives him a head start. You know, and to me, that's like not wasting time. That's maximizing gain. That's knowing, you know, just X's and O's here. You know, I mean, we could be picky and be like, man, I wish he would have broke this tackle, et
I
cetera.
wish we
But
would have split these guys here instead of trying to beat them. 21.
he tends to want to go to the outside a lot more. He starts inside, wants to go outside, which I wonder if that's going to hurt him. Like, you know, because he's not going to test out and run an amazing 40. He's not slow, but he's not amazing. So he should probably be more physical and get north and south. But
What do you think? Because I was thinking probably high 4.5s, like a 4.58, something like that.
Yeah, I would say so. We got to do that 40 challenge again this year if they have the combine.
I'll
What do
say
you think,
I'll
Nick?
say 4.55.
Okay, so you got him a little bit faster.
I'll say 4.59.
Oh, we're all pretty close. All right.
I liked your 4.58. I just got to go one ahead. So if he goes higher, I beat
Without going
$1.
over.
So should I say 4.57 and then he
Yeah.
has like no chance?
I have no. He's got to get exactly 4.58.
Yeah, so if anybody is curious, last year for the combine,
Oh, here we
Nick,
go.
Garrett, and I, and a few other guys in the community.
Probably what, 10, 12 of us?
I think 6 or so.
Yeah.
We all
Right,
like
half that.
put we all put down the 40 times that we thought each guy would have, and I won. Nick was second, and then what else
hold
did
on.
we do?
You won.
I won the
Running backs or
total
receivers?
thing.
Yeah, but you won one of them overall.
Yeah, but everything combined, I won.
Well, I'm just saying you won one wide receivers or running backs, and I won the other
won.
one, and then you won overalls. But we were like first and second.
Yeah, I won.
I was in the middle of the pack. I didn't do anything exciting. About it.
You got what? Denzel Mims is your claim to fame, right?
Oh, yeah. I crushed Denzel Mims.
Did we do
number.
DBs? I didn't think we did DBs.
No, we just did offensive skill players,
You're thinking
Yeah.
Denzel Ward, man. You got those Browns in your head.
as we
yeah.
should.
Oh yeah. Here
Look
we
at
go,
it.
Brown. All right. back
All
to
right,
the
go ahead, Nick.
Oh, this run sucks. I'm just kidding. He's such a beast. Just throws this guy.
I mean, do I have to say anything? I mean, he's just so
No.
physical. Like I saw this run, and I'm just like, he's patient. Like that's
patient.
part of
I
being
love it.
the running back too. That sometimes you're like he's almost too patient in the backfield, but you want to be slow to then fast through the hole, and he understands that. And a lot of these are pullers coming to the outside, you know, big holes, which is nice, you know. But just how he is this. What was the phrase again, J-Wack?
Slow to, fast through.
No, the leaving a path of destruction.
Yeah.
Oh, leaving a path of destruction in his wake.
In his wake. There it is. I mean, look at this. Just tossing guys all over the place.
I know,
it was,
dude. I love
you know,
it.
it's a fun run.
Guys, he's clearly the RB3 in this class. Like, I don't think I will be able to put him over ETN and Najee. I know we kind of teased at it earlier, but I mean, he's a stud. He's gonna be good.
Right.
He helps this class out a lot.
I don't know, man. I'm not gonna say whether I can or can't yet. I gotta do my 6 games on all of them because there's a lot of things to like in this game.
Right. I mean, to me, he's minimum RB3.
For sure.
Maximum RB1. He could be.
Yeah, I can't foresee myself putting him there. But I mean, Garrett, like you said, I haven't gone through my full eval either.
Right.
So can you go back on this one for me?
But I have studied those guys last year, just knowing that
Sure.
I thought they were coming out.
So I want to talk about we see this play, okay, and we're excited about it, right? But you know, there's a. Oh, is this the same one?
Yeah.
Yeah. The
Can we
long
go
run.
back to the other angle?
No, it's okay. It's fine. So I might be thinking of another play, but to me, like that hole wasn't necessarily set up by him. But what I love here, okay, this is one small thing that really good running backs do, is they just have this natural feel. He gets in the open field. He uses his speed. He knows he's not Travis Etienne. Okay. What he does though, once he hits and gets past his receiver, what's he do? He widens automatically. He starts widening to the numbers. And he starts feeling this guy, starts widening further. And this just maximizes him. That's another 20, 30 yards. If he would have went straight and got tackled up that seam, he wouldn't have gotten, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 yards less, in my opinion. I mean, if you watch this. Right when that guy gets on him, it's what, the 35?
Yeah, that's a good point, Nick.
And he gets down inside the 10.
Just
so
little
just
things.
naturally widening.
Yeah.
Garrett, can you take that back to the beginning too? Because one of the things I like, and this was a fantastic block here, but go ahead and run through this slowly in the very beginning here. So he gets it. We see the puller get to this guy, but watch how he goes right off. Like I think he even bumped into 72. Just the feel to, before I get out and around, I need to get up a little bit before, that way I'm not tripped up by this guy. It's just a really good feel. And then he almost comes back a little bit and widens. He
Right.
just navigates all of that so well, because it's a good hole. It's a good play, but he had to get a good feel for the up, then the back, down, and around to be able to get through. And that's just those things you can't coach that.
Nick Chubb
You
is so
can't
good at
teach
that.
those things. Yes,
Navigating
Nick-
the scrum.
Exactly. You can't teach those things. There's so many guys that are just so stuck with the play design that I'm going to go to the spot I need to be in right now. And very, very rarely is it that clean to just be able to say, go from A to B and then upfield. Like it's just never that clean. And so just the natural feeling that he has for all of that, you can't teach those things. You can't coach those things. You either have it or you don't. And he has it.
And,
Yeah, he
and,
does.
and honestly, I mean, we're going to go back to something from, last year, and people were mad at me. Like, I felt like Cam Akers was more mechanical, which is what you're speaking of, versus some guy that has a bigger toolbox. I mean, look at all the problems that are presented. That guy right in his face as J-Wack had to play, got rid of him right away. Or this blocker got blown up. Okay, now the hole's different. He constantly has ways to beat defenses that honestly you're wondering, why won't he succeed in the NFL versus is he going to be a player? I right now, he's already going to be a player for me based off what we watched, because I see him winning in so many ways on the field.
Yeah, so we had on the podcast, Dynasty Nerds podcast, that released today. We're recording this on Wednesday. Garrett had the third pick. I think it went Najee and then went ETN, right, Garrett?
Correct.
And then you took Javonte Williams, actually. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if that's what's happening in one quarterback leagues.
I did, and it was tough to pass up some of those receivers because there's some fantastic receivers, but especially like, Zamir White opted out at this point too. So the running back class just got even a tiny bit thinner. But after these top three and then Kenneth Gainwell, it's really, really murky after that. Now, once again, I haven't done my deep dives into guys. I'm sure I'll find guys that I move up and down a little bit, but it gets really, really scary after those three and then Gainwell.
Chuba, man, I think
Remember
he went.
Chuba?
They did a second round too, and I think he went like 2-6.
Maybe he was pretty late and justifiably so.
Yeah, Gainwell was up there. I mean, Zamir White. That was before we knew he was going back.
He opted out.
I mean, this is the cutback here.
No, not yet. Not opted out.
We're so used to saying that.
Yeah, I know.
All right, Nick. Sorry, I let this run.
No, you're fine. Look at this cutback. I mean, to be under balance that's a big cutback.
Yeah, it's got good vision, man.
I just love that. I mean,
Sees the block.
it takes him multiple steps to make this cutback because it's so massive, and he didn't make like a big defining step. So it probably took him 3 steps if you look at it, but he won. He got around this cut D end or D lineman, this backer that undercut the block. Like he still made it successful. And to me, that's just another tool. Like hey, he sees this right away. He can make this massive movement for a big guy. That's the thing. I mean, what's
Yeah,
Derrick
220.
Henry good at? He's good at getting downhill, making smaller cuts. Derrick Henry making huge cuts, he struggles with. I mean, we saw that last week in the playoff game. They made him make some big cuts and stop his feet. He wasn't as good. But Williams is a big guy, and he can make these big cuts. It's pretty exciting.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, this is the play. Oh, never mind. I thought that was the get off me spin move.
No, that one's coming too. So I said I want you to play this. These are 2 plays in a row. This wasn't even what I want to highlight, but it's a good play. So you can just let it play through. Okay, another good play. Bounces the outside. Doesn't fully break the tackle, but he still gets another 5 yards. And then this is the play.
Boom. Strings it together.
Like how?
He's so nasty. Oh my gosh.
Now, if you watch it, well, first off, that's 2 really good runs back to back. Some guys can't do that. Okay, first off. The other thing you want to point out is if you watch this and break this down and watch the defenders, it's really bad defense.
For sure.
I mean, you look at so one guy dives. He has no business touching him. I like that move that he did right there, but the odds of him tackling him are low.
Right.
This D lineman, I don't know that he really even touches him. Watch him right here. That's all he gets. That's a terrible angle.
5's like shit.
Watch how high 5 is. Break it down when 5 makes contact. Why are you that high?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And great job for Williams after breaking a tackle, getting that low.
Exactly. Yep. So good on his part, but terrible by 5. That's not your job at all. And you deserve to be on posters for that.
Dismantled.
44 has to avoid him. And now it's kind of out of control trying to catch up.
He actually set him up too.
Yep. And I like the cutback. So he knows. So again, this is the mentality we talk about. He could go out of bounds here. He's like, or I'm going to cut back in.
Look at 6. It's like, dude, it's the path of destruction in his way. Towels flying everywhere. Sidelines losing their minds. And actually, I'm pissed I cut it out here. But when you watch Javonte Williams after this play, he was kind of like pissed that he didn't score. You could tell. Like he was like, he's had his head down.
Scored.
Yeah, I mean,
if you would have just hesitated here and let his blocker do his work, but
yeah. I mean,
you can't be
whatever.
mad about a run like that. That was
No.
fun. And back-to-back runs, like I said. That's why I said, hey, just do these 2 in a row because it's awesome.
On to Florida State here. Oh man, you better get a ticket for that train.
That guy was low too. He didn't bring his feet, but low.
That's like the textbook definition of like truck stick.
Dude, he like breaks his back. Look at his back bend. Like that is the definition of truck stick, though. He doesn't even slow down. Sorry,
That's what
Nick,
reminds
this
me
is-
of Carlos Hyde. Do you remember in Ohio State? Like he just broke so many tackles.
Yeah, man. Do I remember Carlos?
First 1,000-yard rusher for Urban Meyer.
Ting.
Think he's going to Jacksonville?
Yeah,
I think so too.
I think he wants to get back in the game. And you know him. He's only in for 5 years, and he's out and in and out.
And he gets bored.
Yep.
Great patience here, Nick.
Yep. And that's kind of what it is. I mean, this is watching that second level, watching 44. I think it is fly over the top here. Is that right? Is it 44? Yeah. Okay. On the outside. So, and anticipating that. And then this is the best lane for him to get yardage, Smart.
Yeah, I love the way he sets. Whoops. Love the way he sets that block up too. Kind of. Few little shuffle steps outside, looking like young Garrett Price out there.
And he kept it, and he kept his shoulders square, which honestly, this isn't something, this is the only time I saw this, J-Wack, so I'm glad you pointed out. It's the only time that he kept himself square to cut up field. So I don't know if that's something he normally does or this is an outlier. Did you guys see this?
No, not normally.
You're talking about him, trying to bounce stuff outside a lot, right?
Yeah, he does. So this is well, I'm just saying in terms of like even to cut back, his shoulders were turned and then cuts back. This one you can tell he's just like he's coming back based on his shoulders.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks kind of like that's how the play's like designed, or like that's his footwork he's supposed to use on that specific play, almost.
He's probably reading that guy there, 44, and letting him decide for him where he's going to go, what he's going to do on that play.
I love this guy's just bag of tricks, man. Like, he's patient, strong, breaks tackles. He's got plenty of speed.
And I will say, going back to his 2019 tape, he did not have this same kind of burst. He had the strength. The strength was there in 2019.
Yep.
The burst was not. So I'm curious as to what he did in the offseason to like prepare himself, prepare his body, because there was a lot more there this year in that sense than there was in 2019.
Do you have any concerns that Michael Carter got so many carries? I know he's good, but if Williams is this good, why didn't he get more?
I'm not concerned about it because I was reading up just kind of on both these guys the other night and just listening or reading little things from Mac Brown saying like how these twos are like the leaders of the team, or they were this year, and like how they just pushed each other day in and day out throughout the summer. Just in the film room, like they're gym rats, and they just push each other constantly. So I feel like they're just kind of like a thunder and lightning.
Well, and I think part of it too is if Michael Carter was putting up 5 yards a carry and not showing that he can also get things done well, then I think I would be more concerned. But with how well he played on top of it, if you're Mac Brown and you can put out either running back at any time, you can keep both guys fresh. I mean, it's similar to honestly what the Cleveland Browns are doing right now with Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb is probably the better running back. Actually, let me rephrase that. Nick Chubb is the better running back. But that said, if you can keep Nick Chubb fresh, and instead of having to trot him out there on every series or almost every series, have a guy that is just a really close 1B to your 1A, from a strategic standpoint, I think it makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, they are different running backs too. Michael Carter gives you a different look than what Williams
a little more
gives
speed.
You.
Yeah,
It's a nice little 1-2 punch. It's a good question though, Nick, because there will be people that try to use that argument against Williams.
I mean, this year, it's a big hole. Obviously, they lost Contain early. But what I like about it is he doesn't bounce outside right away. If you watch, he comes up and sets that up before he comes out. That's kind of what I want to highlight, is that he's smart with not rushing that, which is what you want. When you want to have those cutbacks, you want guys that can, set up the interior backers or 32s you see here. They crash inside and give up their contain.
Nick, why didn't he keep going with that outside? Especially with the way that the wide receiver was turned for the block. He was obviously going to block the guy inside.
There's another guy outside of him.
There's just the one guy, but there's one guy outside. There's everyone inside.
Right. I think he thought he could beat that guy inside and get a big gain, and that flow wouldn't get there.
I think he thought he could cut a little quicker too. I mean, it takes like 5 steps here.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because to me, the more optimal route is to just keep widening there, and then it's just one-on-one with the DB.
Yep. And that was one of my points too. I mean, his preferred would be outside.
Mm-hmm.
And him one-on-one against the DB, win.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. So that might be a little bit another of know who you are.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be like Derrick Henry. You want Derrick Henry doing that and trying to cut inside, or just
I love this run, man.
going over a guy?
Just patient, fighting. That's the fun part about putting the film cut-ups together for the show, is I get to watch all your guys' cut-ups. Yeah. I was like, oh,
This one here, he's just, and from this angle too, is just, he's so patient because it's not there right away. And you can just see him just being slow. Okay. Still not there. I mean, how many guys would trust it that much and now cut inside?
Yeah.
That's tough.
They would have cut him
And
way
he's
earlier.
Look, I mean, he's getting hit blown back, and he's still fighting, going forward. Finishes.
I just thought
forward.
this showed just unreal patience from him in understanding his role and not trying to do too much.
I love the little dip he gave, too. You can see it on this angle. I mean, he's like, he dips, kind of gets him to bite.
Yep. He's setting them all up.
Bring him out. Bring him out. Good speed here. Right, Garrett?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Sorry, I was getting back to a tweet.
I'm like a
Hey, fine.
teacher in
So-
class.
Garrett.
So this one, obviously, it's really good blocking and designed, but you can just tell 6 takes a bad angle and doesn't anticipate the speed. That's what I want to highlight. So, I mean, it's counter, sift block coming backside. Okay. Look at him. He's like, oh, boy.
But Nick, he didn't switch the ball.
I know. I was going to point that out. Yep. Wrong arm.
I was waiting for it. Actually, you know what's funny? My running back coach in high school, now granted, this is a high school running back coach versus, these are college and NFL guys we're talking about. My running backs coach did not like us switching the ball. He didn't want us to because he was always worried about the fumble and the transfer.
Now, tell me this. Okay. So then let's go back just to the end of that run. J-Back. You can go back just a little bit. Okay. Stop. He switches arms. Okay. Let's imagine.
Right.
Now watch this DB on 15. He could potentially stiff arm. This could be touchdown. That's the difference we're talking about. That's the only guy you got to beat. Stiff arm. It's realistic. He widens a little bit with a stiff arm. Could be gone.
Good. I don't disagree with you. I'm on board too. I'm team outside arm, but I thought that was funny and always interesting to me because I had always heard that everywhere. But then our running backs coach was like, nope, I want you guys to keep the same arm. And maybe he had a running back a few years before me that always fumbled when he tried to do it or something. I don't know. But he did not like guys switching their arms.
Think of how much better you would have been if
Right?
you would have been switching the arm.
That was the problem. I probably would have gone pro.
Right.
Always makes the first man miss.
That's what I want to highlight here. Now he's one-on-one in space and he makes that move. That guy's not even close.
Even 11 here, kind of getting into the backfield.
Yep.
Voids him. Doo-doo-doo. Whoa.
Kid's a talent.
And he's still like, after contact, still gains more. Like, his yak has to be insane.
Yeah.
For sure.
Big hairy yak. Sorry.
Is that the last play?
That was indeed.
That wraps
So-
it up. All right. So I mentioned earlier, we talked about landing spots. First of all, where do you guys think he'll go NFL draft wise as far as round pick, range, that type of thing? And then is there a specific place that you wouldn't mind him seeing getting drafted to?
I think he's a second round guy.
I have
I think
early
so,
round
too.
2.
Yep. Is there a place you guys want to see him go?
I think
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh. Whoa. Right at the same time. I mean, we all know they need a running back. A lot of people have been talking about Najee Harris possibly going there. And I feel like they both kind of fit that Pittsburgh Steelers mold. Williams is a little more like freaking destroyer when it comes to like leaving people dead on the field.
I do worry about Pittsburgh's offensive line. We saw them kind of take a step back this year. Pouncey could be gone. What is it, Villanueva? No, it's not Villanueva.
Yeah, I think it's Villanueva.
Yeah, is it? Okay. I keep thinking Charlie Villanueva, NBA player. So I mix those guys. Yeah. Anyway, not important. Speaking of random players.
That's old school.
Yeah,
That was.
UConn,
Yeah.
Bucks, played for the Cavs for a little bit.
But the team that I would like to see him go to, and people aren't going to like this because there's 2 running backs already on this team that people like, and I still just don't think either one are getting it done. And I think this offense would be so much better with an actual effective running back. I want to see him go to Buffalo. I think that would be the best spot. I know people love Singletary. I know people love Zach Moss. I don't think either one's any good, personally.
No. Well, he'd be more talented than both. I just know that they're going to invest the pick 3 years in a row. How about he goes to the team that's got tons of picks to get it done? They need a guy they're building this crazy young nucleus.
Miami?
And Miami.
Yeah. Yep. I thought about that one as well. I think I even mocked him there one time when I was going through my drafts. I wouldn't mind that at all.
I'm trying to find the picks by round. It's always so hard to find the second round.
Or we just make this elite decision and have him go to the 49ers.
The only thing that I would worry about him with the 49ers is they run that outside zone scheme. He's not the fastest player. I don't know how, I would almost rather see like ETN go to the Niners.
Well, see, but here's the deal. So with Arian Foster was awesome in outside zone and inside zone.
Sure, and he wasn't the fastest.
Yep. So I think both players can run. I don't think Najee Harris would be good in that scheme.
I don't think so either.
I think ETN and Williams are more athletic in terms of, more athletic than Najee.
Sure.
I think Najee's more athletic than both of them from a pure athlete standpoint.
More athletic than ETN?
Yeah, I think he's more athletic. If you want to talk about all-around athlete, I think ETN's definitely faster.
So maybe like for his
burstier.
size, but like he's not gonna do some of the things that ETN can do.
From a fast and speed standpoint, no.
Right.
But like from an athlete standpoint, just all around,
Well, I don't need him to
Najee's
dunk.
the best athlete. Well, there's a lot of things that play into that, the way they move,
I know.
balance, all that stuff. But I mean,
all right. Anything else before we wrap this up? Put a little bow on it.
I'm trying to think of other landing spots that I'd like for him.
Well, and that's the thing too that people keep forgetting is that, we keep wanting these guys to go to these ideal spots, that have openings for running backs, and sometimes they go to places that already got running backs. Think of last year with the Rams; they already, Henderson and was hoping, and then he didn't do much, and then Akers goes there. I mean, this is a long time ago, but Carolina picked Jonathan Stewart when they were at a first round good guy and D'Angelo Williams. Like, we don't know what teams are going to do. So he could go to Buffalo, like you're saying. I'd love for my Bears to have Williams. I was
gonna say I was waiting for the Bears. I know you wanted Montgomery out of there. Real quick, because this isn't part of the show. What did you think about his ending of the season there for David Montgomery? Obviously, some easy defenses. Were you more impressed with Montgomery as the season went on, or were you still just out?
Well, it's a combination of things. One, the defenses. If people can't acknowledge that, just look at Trubisky's numbers, okay,
Sure.
and scoring versus when they didn't play Detroit's of the world, et cetera, and the offensive line change. So if people don't know, Sam Mustipher started at center, then Bars was at right guard, and Whitehair was at left guard, and it really formed a lot better. And they replaced right tackle. It formed much better in terms of a nucleus moving forward. Even we're excited about that in Chicago. I think he was. Here's the deal. We have a 25 game sample size of him being a 3.5 yards per carry type of guy. And then we had this run at the end of the year. And so it's tough to identify who's the real him. Did he turn the corner? Was it just a series of games? They used him more. They changed the scheme. Chicago started to do what Green Bay, 49ers, the outside zone or the zone with the sift block backside and the bootlegs to use Trubisky. Was it scheme? I think he was more decisive. I think he ran with a little bit more confidence once things were going. But it's tough for me because I don't know what they're going to do scheme wise.
Sure.
All that kind of stuff. I was more impressed. Yes. But again, if you want to envision him as a 5 game sample size guy, I think that's wrong as well.
Sure. Sorry, little random tangent.
Are you gonna pay me
What?
for a bet? $10.
Sure. What do you want?
It was $10. It was he would finish top 24 running back.
Sure.
He finished top 4.
I know.
I thought he was 6.
Depends on if you go week 16 or week 17.
But he
was
had
17.
the easiest schedule to close the year.
All right, guys. I think that's enough for tonight. We've talked about a lot about Javonte Williams. Obviously, we're big fans. We think he's going to be a really talented back. We talked about some other nonsense, threw in David Montgomery just for fun, so you're welcome there. But I think that's all we have for tonight. I appreciate Nick, Jared, all the stuff that you do behind the scenes. We can't acknowledge it enough because Nick and I just don't have the savvy to do all of these things that you're doing. So we do appreciate you. We do appreciate your time. We appreciate all you guys out there checking this video out. There'll be lots more to come. We'll break down some of the guys that we didn't get a chance to get to preseason. But we'll retouch some of those guys too. We'll go back to ETN. We'll go back to Harris. We'll get to the wide receivers too, like Chase and Rondell Moore and those guys. It's going to be a fun time to get into all these guys. Lots more ahead. Please stay tuned.
See you next time.